Alright, today we're going to be making chicken on rice. It's more going to be like a soup, maybe a little dry, but mostly on a soup. Also known as Arroz Con Pollo. Some of the items that we're going to need, to start off, of course, is the main course. We're going to need about a pound of chicken. I usually like to use dark meat because it's usually, and you want it with the skin and a little bit of the bones because that's what actually gives the rice that flavor that you really want. Usually what I'll marinate about, what you want is about 4 pieces. Probably a couple of legs, a couple of thighs. I put an extra thigh in there just to give it a little bit more taste to it. We'll do that. And prior to that, I usually marinate the chicken with a little bit of lime juice. That's why I have this lime right here. Just for about an hour, just to make sure it tenderizes a little bit and give it a little bit of zing. On the other items I'm going to be using also, of course, is about 2 tablespoons of oil, canola oil. That's what I'm going to use today. Some of the spices we're going to be using is cumin. We're going to use about a teaspoon of cumin, comino. And the garlic we're going to use about 2 cloves. We're going to do that raw also. The same thing with the onion. We'll probably use a little bit of, maybe about, we're going to cut up a couple of pieces of onion, maybe about 2 tablespoons. Not too much, just 2 tablespoons finely chopped. And on the green peppers, we're going to use a couple of slices. This is really to add some really good flavor. So just a couple of slices, because if I use too much, then I'm going to get heartburn. So I try not to use too much, just to get some good flavor. And of course, we're going to have some salt. I usually like to use the kosher salt. Tastes really good. Just a couple of pinches, depending as needed. The other items we're going to be using also is tomato sauce. Probably about maybe about half a cup of tomato sauce. Not too much, depending as needed how really tomatoey you want it. And the rice that we're going to be using, of course, is white rice, just plain regular white rice, but it's extra long grain. So whenever you make the rice, just be sure to purchase or get the extra long grain. You make the short ones, sometimes they get too sticky and they won't too mushy. So you really want the extra long grain rice. We're going to use about 1.5 cups. And to add some more spice to it, seasoning, this actually has some chicken bouillon, some chicken bouillon. Probably about, we're only going to probably be using maybe a teaspoon of this. It's very salty, so we'll need to use a little bit. So you're going to have to taste it as needed, so be careful with this. But it makes it taste really good. Make sure it's the one with the green cap, and it says chicken bouillon flavor. It's for the chicken. And if you want to, instead of using water, to actually, when we do the cooking of the rice, you can actually use chicken broth. You probably use about 2 cups, but if you want to, you can just usually one regular water if you want to. I think I picked everything up. I think maybe we also can add some mixed vegetables. You don't have to do this, but it actually has some color and some extra flavor to it. Sometimes I think what the secret is sometimes they add a little bit of celery that's in there, and that's what actually adds a little bit of really good flavor. Sometimes that's in there when you cook it with the chicken and rice. I think that's all we'll be doing, and then we'll continue and start cooking. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start cooking. There's nothing fancy about cooking chicken and rice. It's just the timing when you got to cook the rice, when you got to cook the chicken, when you got to throw everything in. The first thing you always have to cook is the chicken. You always have to semi-cook the chicken, maybe about halfway done, and then you throw the rice in with the chicken to toast it. You got to toast the rice a little bit. Let's go ahead. The oil's already been too hot. I put the 2 tablespoons in. I'm going to go in there and throw it in the hot oil. Put it in medium heat, maybe low heat. Like that. Cooking right now. Go ahead and cover it up. I'm trying to do just kind of fry it on one side and fry it on the other side. Just about halfway. And when you think the chicken's halfway cooked, then we'll go ahead and throw the rice. And what the oil's going to do, we're going to throw the rice in there with the oil to kind of toast it. And it kind of seals the starch of the rice. And that's what keeps it from getting so sticky and mushy. So that's why we need to toast the rice a little bit. We'll do that in a bit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start cooking. There's nothing fancy about cooking chicken and rice. It's just the timing when you got to cook the rice, when you got to cook the chicken, when you got to throw everything in. The first thing you always have to cook is the chicken. You always have to semi-cook the chicken, maybe about halfway done, and then you throw the rice in with the chicken to toast it. You gotta toast the rice a little bit. Let's go ahead. The oil's already been too hot. I put the 2 tablespoons in. I'm gonna go in there and throw it in the hot oil. Put it in medium heat, maybe low heat. Put it there. Cooking right now. Go ahead and cover it up. I'm trying to do just kind of fry it on one side and fry it on the other side. Just about halfway. And when you think the chicken's halfway cooked, then we'll go ahead and throw the rice. And what the oil's going to do, we're going to throw the rice in there with the oil to kind of toast it. And it kind of seals the starch of the rice. And that's what keeps it from getting so sticky and mushy. So that's why we need to toast the rice a little bit. We'll do that in a bit. Now we look at the chicken. It's not quite halfway done, but we can still what we plan to do is, see there's a little bit of water there. We're kind of drying it out by leaving the lid uncovered, because we're gonna have to fry the rice in there. So, and sometimes if you don't have enough room, because I may have put too much chicken, you could actually pull it to the side and then fry the rice in that oil. The one thing you want to do, some people will sometimes boil the chicken on the side, but then you're going to remove all the flavoring and it's not going to go into all of it into your rice. So that's why I like it to cook all together and not lose any of the chicken fat flavor and all the bone marrow flavor, all that good stuff that's inside the chicken. So I've already cooked about half, maybe a third of the way, a little bit, not quite halfway. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it off to the side so we can cook the rice with that oil, but we kind of dried it already. You can see there's oil in there, not too much water, because then we're going to have problems if we have a little bit too much water. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out, pull it to the side. Chicken, and pull that. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull the rice into play. I'm going to grab my rice. Right in there. So what you want to do is try to make sure it's kind of flat so it can toast evenly. So I'll spread it out. Spread this out. Spread it out. Let's mix it with a little bit of oil first, and then we'll spread it out, because we want the rice to get all saturated with the oil. I think that 2 tablespoons might be just enough, because you don't want it too oily. I know sometimes it might be a little bit oily. It's okay if you have a little bit of chunks of chicken there. It's okay. So now just try to straighten it out, flatten it out as best you can, because you want to toast it evenly, nice and kind of semi-golden brown. And we're going to get the onions ready and the garlic, because we got to kind of caramelize those in a bit. Alright, now that the rice is a little toasty, you can go ahead and throw the garlic and the onions. I only use about a clove and a half, and the onions just a little bit more than the garlic. So not too much onions, just some. You guys can see. I have to add a little bit more oil, just a little dab, maybe another teaspoon. Kind of dried up on me a little bit. Now you want to saute the onions and the garlic for maybe about 30 seconds. You don't want to burn them. Just move it around with the rice. The rice is kind of crunchy now because you kind of fried it. That's what you want. A little bit of crunchy rice because it's fried. And now we're going to add the water and the spices. You want that to cook a little bit. Saute a bit. Let the aromatics come out. That's really good. Alright. Try to throw the chicken back in. Throw it on top. maybe 2 pieces of chicken, 2 pieces, or maybe a wider pan. Probably gonna do everything all together, but everything kind of compressed. I needed room. Just in my way. All right. Like I said, we're gonna use maybe about 2 cups of chicken broth. I like to get the reduced salt, the sodium, because sometimes we can't tell with our spices how much we gotta put. So about 2 cups. We still may need a little bit more. The rice is gonna need some. So just so it won't burn, we're gonna go ahead and start putting the water in there. The broth, about 2 cups. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna need more. So we need to cover the chicken a little bit more. And a cup and a half, 2 cups and a half. That's good. Alright. We're gonna go ahead and throw the tomato sauce. And then we're gonna throw the comino, about a teaspoon. And green onions we'll throw last. And so about the same time, almost before it comes out, the green onions and the mixed vegetables, because that will cook pretty quick, so you don't want it to cook all the way. So, spoon mix it up a little bit. Spices. Onions are still kind of raw, but they'll cook over time. It should take about 30 or 40 minutes at low heat. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit more because I had it really low. Remember, the chicken's still a little raw, so you're gonna have to cook this for at least 30 minutes. The rice for sure is gonna take at the minimum 30 minutes. Garlic. I'm gonna put a little bit of the chicken bouillon, maybe about a teaspoon. Just a little bit. This thing has a lot of salt. If you need more, you'll feel it in the end. Garlic and everything going. Close this up. Medium heat, a little bit low. And see, the water's just covering, barely reaching the level of the chicken. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes. Let's look and see what's going on. Alright, it's starting to boil a little bit. You can see it. It's a little red. It's because of the tomato sauce and some of the seasoning that we put in there. You see the water levels just covering barely the chicken level. So it's boiling up. You guys can see. So we'll give it another, I think I'm going to go ahead and throw the green peppers. I think it will take a little bit of time. Those things are difficult to cook. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in. I say we got another 20 minutes before we finish off. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in the green peppers, a couple slices. Let me go ahead and do that. I just cut about 4 slices, and you can see the green pepper. I barely cut a piece. So I'm going to go grab that and throw it into the soup. Open up the pot and grab this up. And let's go ahead and throw this in there. Like I said, I wouldn't throw the peppers until like maybe 20 minutes. A little bit halfway done, which is we got about 20-25 minutes still. It's going. Smells good, looks good. Slow to simmer, that's what you want. Alright, go ahead and cover it up. So we'll go ahead and wait for the vegetables. We'll do that a little bit later. The only thing I don't forgot maybe is some pepper. Let me go ahead and throw some pepper. I like the black pepper in there. I usually like to crack it. If you could just wait, let me pause it for a bit. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get some black pepper. Just throw a little coat of crackles. This is just as needed, you guys, if you ever need to Take them out. Take them out. It's okay. It's a little bit of. Alright, it's been about 20 minutes already. We're boiling. Let's look at it, see what's going on. Oh, the rice is starting to float to the top. And you see it drying a bit. So we may still have to add a little bit of broth. We'll keep an eye on it. You see it dry a little bit more. We may have to put some, a little bit more of the chicken broth, another half a cup or so. Go ahead and do that now. Yeah, it looks, it's still raw, you can tell. Okay, a bit more. That's what I can do. Calm down a little bit. Try not to mix it too much, but I'm just trying to see what it's doing. Looks good. Yeah, try not to mix them with the peppers to the middle. Quick peppers. Bell peppers. Alright, good. Cover it up. Hopefully in about another 15 minutes. Or just keep on, make sure, keep an eye on it doesn't dry up. So now we have to add a little bit of water or some of the last of the chicken broth you have. Alright, I think it's starting to dry up a little bit and we could probably add the vegetables. It's about, let me check also, see how well the cook. My lord, it's starting to boil a little bit. Trying up too fast. Let me see if it's hard or soft, the rice. Semi-hard. Feels like it needs more salt. So I'm still gonna go ahead. Rice is almost cooked, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the vegetables. Remember, there's a little bit of water in it too, so that will add to the moisture. Add some water to the rice. Add some color, a little bit of flavor. Add some. All right, they need some salt too. So add some more salt. I'll throw some regular salt, maybe a couple of pinches. Some kosher salt. Needed a lot of salt. Remember what I said, as needed, the salt. Flip the chicken around just in case it didn't cook right. That looks like the chicken's cooked by itself. That's why it's important to cook it, semi-cook it in the beginning. Alright, it's good. Oop. Some of the vegetables are flying out. Go ahead and put it in there. I think it still needs a little bit more water. Throw a little bit of the broth I still have. I think I have a little bit left. Also use it. Yeah, so I think I used the whole container, which is 32 ounces. So it's the whole container, the 32 ounces I used. So let me cover it back up. Yep. Alright, looks good. And like I said, you add salt as needed. The rice is almost cooked. You don't want it to be crunchy, you want it to be soft. Okay? So I'll give it another 5 minutes and I think it should be done. Alright, it's already done. See how it's kind of still juicy and soupy? You get a little piece, so not super chicken. And a little light. And a little bit of rice, of course. A little bit of rice. Not too much. And of course, no, maybe like put a little bit of cilantro in there. Oh, makes it taste good. A little bit of cressy. Then a little bit of salsita. And maybe some frijolitos and corn tortillas. But here's your final product. It's Arroz Con Pollo, chicken and rice. Hopefully you guys can do it as easy as I can. Alright, thank you. There it is, chicken with rice. Garnish it with a little bit of cilantro and put a little bit of salsita. And that should be good right there with a little egg.